Hi creative friends, this is Freya and thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to be posting this video as part 2, but in my last video, so part 1, I was working on the value map and I just started it. So I did my composition, which was the rule of thirds, and then I sketched in my my apples on my bowl and some fabric, and then I just put in my darkest values. So I'm going to move this off to the side here, but I just wanted to explain that this is going to be part 2. What I had envisioned when I started, like when I made that last video, was to go back and forth, but then I thought, well, maybe the video is going to run too long, because then it would be like a 40-minute video. So I just decided to break it into two different videos, but like it's the same kind of it's the same thing. Like this is a value map that I work through, probably, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say how far in it is. I don't know. But this is a value map that is done because now I'm going to start adding color. And then the one that I worked on in my last video is just the, like, how I got to this. Well, it's not how I got there, but I'm going to just go back and forth. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is so confusing, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. And if not, just leave me a question and I will be so happy to answer it. So one of the things I just want to point out is that when I'm doing these still lifes, I am doing them because, first of all, they just make me happy. They relax me. I just love doing still lifes. But another reason to do them is because they are really a great teaching tool. So, when I did this, drawing here, first I drew like I don't know, a vase or a jar or a jug or something, and then I didn't like it, so I just scratch it out. There's all these lines here, so I could divide this space into the rule of thirds. So I approach my still lifes like very haphazardly. Like I don't look at it like, oh, it's so pristine and I can't mess it up. And if I do something and I don't like it, like even if I come back to this and I go, you know what, it's just not really, I'm not feeling it, I can just go in and just do more sketches, do like just draw over top of it. Like I don't approach it like very seriously, and I just find that that takes some of the like some of the stress that we can face, like fear of the blank page, etc., etc. So I just feel like it's important to say that, like, it's not such a big deal. And of course, when you are like, when I took still life classes, the teacher would set up a still life and off to the side in the classroom, and it would just stay there the whole time I was taking the class. So just say I was taking a class, these are in-person classes, just say they were like 15 classes once, like one a week. Well, the still life would just stay there for the entirety of the class, because it's not like a figure drawing class. Like when you set up a still life, you can leave it there. That's one of the great things about setting up a still life. You can just leave it there. You can leave it there for as long as you need to. You don't need to move it. It's not going to change, because you're putting the light on, you're turning the light on. So everything is going to remain the same. And that's a great reason to set up a still life. But for the purposes of this video, I did not set up a still life. But anyways, I'm sorry for that long song and dance, you guys. I'm going to start adding some colors, and what I'm going to do is I am going to do the pointillism. I'm going to do the dots, and this is so exciting for me because I've never done this before with still lifes. So this is like I'm so excited, actually. And what I'm going to do is I just have like these different colors. So I have like reds, different reds. I have, my yellow over here, and I'm not going to go too crazy with the colors, but I also want to be adventurous too, if that makes sense. So I am really interested to see how this is going to kind of, you know, pan out here. So I'm gonna start with just like putting some dots here. I'm really sorry, you guys, but again, it's gloomy. It's super gloomy where I am. So I don't want to turn the light on because it is going to wash out the colors. But if I have to turn my art lamp on midway, that's the reason why. But for now, I'm just going to hold off on it. So all I'm doing is just putting some dots in here. And so I'm trying like to incorporate like a lot of different techniques into one painting here, into one spread. I need some oranges here. So I'm just making these dots. Now now this apple over here is sitting in the back. This apple is sitting back in space because you can see how far it is from the table, you know, the edge of the table here. And it's also sitting behind this apple. So I don't want to put a lot of color on there. So remember, you know, when I did the still lifes, the further back something is, it doesn't have a lot of color, it doesn't have as much detail, and that is a signal to your eye. Like when you look at it, you're going to read that as further back in space. There are a lot of different things that we do to push something in space, and that's one of them. Is we don't put a lot of color, we don't put a lot of detail. And obviously, like with perspective, because I moved this back in space, so those are all things that, you know, it's going to give your eye clues. It's going to give your brain, your eye's going to look at it, and then it's going to give your brain clues that it's sitting back in space. And, you know, your brain's just going to fill in the gaps. And so I'm just kind of like using different colors here. I'm actually going to get out my luminous opera, you guys, which may seem kind of weird because, you know, pink, this is kind of a fluorescent pink, but I'm just feeling it. Now I'm not going to put it, I'm just going to use very, very little. And I'm just going to put it very selectively. So I'm not going to put it on this apple. I'm not going to put it on the bowl. I'm just like, so what I'm doing in this spread is I am doing a value map. I'm doing pointillism, which is the dots of color, and I'm doing playful color, and that's where I am using this this pink here. It's like I'm you know, getting playful with color. And let me see what else I'm doing. I'm doing large shapes to small shapes. And you can set your own parameters, you guys. I find that this is like a really great way to really integrate all the ideas that you are learning. Is like first you learn them separately and then you put them all together. Like that's a really great way to really kind of, you know, integrate all those lessons. So I'm just putting the most color on here, but I am gonna drag a little bit of color on here, like, you know, because I mean, I just don't want to put too much. But as you can see, the most color is going to be on this apple here, and you know, I probably put way too much color on that apple, more than I wanted to, more than I should have, I should say. Okay, and I have my real apple there. But it's not like a red apple, so I just kind of got it for the shape. So I'm gonna start using more reds now. I love these dots, you guys. I just love using this technique of dots, whether it's portraits or, you know, like even with the still life now, I'm just so enamored with it. Now what I'm gonna do is I am gonna start dropping a little bit of the color into the fabric. And I have seen paintings where it's, you know, it's just so masterfully done. Mine is kind of a bit clumsy here, but it's actually quite a bit clumsy, but I mean, I've seen the most beautiful unexpected colors and shadows, and it's really, really breathtaking. Just beautiful. Van Gogh did it in his portraits. I've seen still lifes where it's just, oh, I could just sit and look at the shadows all day long. So I'm gonna start dropping just a little bit of the color into the shadows. Now, keep in mind, this is like very early on the painting. Like this is not, you know, this is early. I don't know how many layers in this is, but now I don't want to put a lot of colors in here because this bowl is sitting back in space. So remember what I said, the things that are sitting back in space, they don't have as much color, they don't have as much detail. So I'm not going to do that, but I am going to start putting in just, you know, some of these colors here. Now I do have stuff on my palette that I just, you know, like I want to use it up. I don't want to waste it, so I'm just gonna just mix it and just kind of see what happens here. Okay. Okay, you guys, now what I'm gonna do is I am gonna get some blues, like a really dark blue. And these are the cheap paints I bought the other day. Yeah, I just said, oh, you know what, I'm gonna try some different like colors. So I'm just gonna kind of put these dots like so. So because a lot of the mass, if you will, was already done with the value map, now it's a matter of me just building on that. So I'm just gonna be, you know, adding more layers. Oops, let me see if I can get this off here. So what I wanna do is I just wanna bring in some of these yellows here. And I'm gonna move this apple off. Okay, I know I said I wasn't gonna bring some color into the bowl, but I just tipped it in there. It's okay. So I am going to bring this up closer, you guys, just so you can kind of see. Like there's some really beautiful stuff going on here. Let me get some white here. Okay, guys, I'm gonna bring this up closer. And I know it's looking all kind of paint by numberies, but I'm also really loving it. Like, I'm just, you know, it's just got so much character depth. I mean, I'm just really digging it. So anyways, you guys, if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. And in my next video, I'm gonna go back to the other one, and I'm just gonna go back and forth, like, you know, from one to the other, and this way you can see, like, okay, you know, how it started, and like I'm gonna build that one up to where this one started off as, if that makes sense. And then I'll keep on going back and forth between the two. So if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.